You're listening to the No Limits Radio Show on the Vets on Media Network.
Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome to No Limits. I'm Christina.
And I'm Michelle.
And we have Sam
Hello.
on board, making sure that everybody sounds
Waking up.
fabulous. So we usually start off every show with the WWW,
It sounds so dramatic when you say that.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Which does not stand for World Wide Web.
Oh, it doesn't?
What would...
What?
Nothing.
Not here, it doesn't.
Oh.
It, in the context of this show, it doesn't stand for World Wide Web. And it doesn't stand for Worldwide Wrestling, which I guess that's the WWF. I always thought it was the WWW.
Yeah, I think it's the World Wrestling Federation.
Yes.
Ding, ding,
WWF.
ding.
Did I
Yes.
win? Did I
Yeah.
win a prize?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're going to body slam somebody now?
You never know. I could have body slammed someone yesterday about 5 o'clock. I'll tell you that right now. So
What
Well-
James do this time?
Well, the WWW is actually it's where Michelle goes out and she finds stories that fit in the category of wild, wonderful, and sometimes weird. So we have some of those today. We've also got some stories and news that have been a bit controversial, so we're going to be talking about those. And we want to encourage our listeners to join in the conversation. So you can either do that by going to the No Limits Radio Show page, and you can comment in the events section. You can just put your post right on the page, or you can do this really, really scary thing. Okay, you ready for it? Brace yourself.
maybe.
What?
You're going to pick up the phone, and you're going to
What?
call in. It's scary. Do you know the percentage of people that listen but don't call in? It's really high.
Probably like 98%.
Exactly.
You know
I
what?
guess too though. It's even scary to call in. Maybe if you can't even maybe if you're getting like money out of it, you're like, okay, well maybe I'll do it, or tickets, right? But even then, I'm like, I won't win anyways. I won't try.
I did win once on a radio station. They were giving away, oh my gosh, what tickets were they for?
Was it Tool or something? Was that
No, it was for the premiere of Batman. So the new one that
Batman.
came out, where Bane was in it, My name is Bane. However he does that, he's got that thing on his face. So anyway, I'm not very good at it. Other people are better.
Wait, can you do that again?
I am Bane.
That
But
kind
anyway.
of reminded me, like,
Luke, I am your father. I am your father. It's like Darth Vader. But anyway, so I did call in because I had to do this little contest, and I can't remember what it was. But I won. But yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking. But we promised to be nice.
Yeah.
we're always
We don't promise to agree with you, but we promise to be nice.
exactly, and that's one of the things that I want to remind everyone. I'm going to actually give you the phone number first, and then I'm going to remind you of something. So the call-in phone number is 602-399-7787. So it's 7787.
Yep.
Three
And
nine-
that's on our Google Plus at the bottom too. In case you forget, it happens.
We
So-
all forget sometimes.
We do, especially over 40. Oh my gosh, I forget so many things. Like what I was going to remind you of. Oh yeah, okay. So here's what I'm going to remind you of. The whole premise here of the show kind of started off with this idea that we could have conversations, and we don't always have to agree. We don't have to avoid topics like sex, politics, religion. As a matter of fact, we have a guest that's going to be talking to us about sex a little bit later in the show.
That's right. We have sex ed coming at 10:15. So
Yes,
if you
yes.
missed that in 5th or 6th grade, please tune in.
So wonderful, weird, wild, wascally wabbits. What do you got for us, Michelle?
Well, we have a lot. We're going to start out with just wonderful.
Okay.
Okay, because I think this is pretty cool, and I wish there was a way that we could make this work in the Phoenix area. But this was actually in Saudi Arabia. A man living there in the city called, I guess it's called Hail, Hail. I'm not really sure. But anyway, he wanted to remain anonymous, but he installed a refrigerator on the street in front of his house and invited neighbors to donate their extra food so that hungry people could come and eat it. So I think it's pretty neat. And if you go to the pictures, we'll post the link on the page. But basically, it's like one of those industrial-sized refrigerators that are kind of like when you go to the gas station and you slide the one door over to grab your soda.
Uh-huh.
It's one of those type fridges, and basically the concept is, you know what, to keep. I think it was more for the integrity or the pride of these people, so they're not digging through the trash. Instead of
Right.
digging through the trash, and instead of us throwing our food in the trash,
Right.
put it somewhere where they can just grab something to eat and leave.
Right. And so they don't have to beg. I think this is a lovely idea, especially when you consider how much food do you typically waste because your family can't eat it, or maybe you're not a leftover household that, actually ends up.
Everyone should be a leftover household. Ugh.
Well, I threw my daughter's celery away the other day, and she was really, really mad. But it was like,
Old.
it looked like a wet noodle. I mean, it was like,
Ugh.
celery's supposed to be crisp, and it was like this. And I'm like, well, honey, it was
No.
bad.
Right.
So,
So you guys didn't have time to eat it.
correct.
And if you had a refrigerator like this in your community, do you think you would utilize it? And I kind of feel like where this would do well would be in lower income areas.
But would it be taken advantage of?
Here's my question of it is, let's say, because there are tons of hotels here in Phoenix, and I don't know how many people know, but at a hotel, like if you have a huge banquet, the food that is not eaten at that banquet is thrown away. They're not
Yeah.
even allowed to take it
Yeah.
to homeless shelters.
Yeah.
So the concept is wonderful, because how great would it be to take all that food that really is just going right into the dumpsters and have some type of a refrigerator outside, so that people know it's there. However, does it cause then, I don't want to say riots, but does it cause arguments? If someone knows that it's,
Right.
if it becomes known that it's there, then all of a sudden
Everyone's there. Yeah.
is everyone on a Friday night waiting for the Hilton to put out their leftovers from the banquet? Are there fights? Are there, so what does it do?
And what about any legal ramifications? Let's say something is put in there and someone has an allergic reaction, or it's gone bad and someone isn't going back to check the dates and the freshness, and somebody gets food poisoning. And so then, because we seem to be a country that, coffee's too hot, we're going to sue. So what ramifications might happen because of that?
Did you guys know that if you guys ever buy anything at a big, like Walmart or Target or anything like that, say you were to go to the back freezer and you grab a milk and you immediately walk up to the front and, you go, I don't want this actually, I'm sorry. That cashier must now throw that away.
Yes.
Anything that you bring up to the front food-wise that you decide not to get must be thrown away because you pulled it out. You don't know how long it's been out as a cashier. Even if you saw them, I've fought this with people before. I say, I just saw them pick that up. Can I not just put it back? That's not, that's stupid. That's wasting money for the company, and that's wasting milk. And no, you have to throw it out. So
But do they?
They do. It's totally the thing you have
I
to
think
do.
they have to.
No matter what it is. I've had baby formula been returned, and I had to, it was never opened. They're like, you know what, I just bought the wrong kind. It was like the wrong, infant year one. I had to throw them all away.
But that's a powder.
It doesn't matter. It was the milk.
Oh, it was
Well,
the
yeah,
milk.
not all formula is a powder,
Oh,
but
okay.
most of it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it still had to be thrown away. Anything like that's returned must be thrown away. So think about that too when you guys go to buy things. If you have food that is perishable, non-perishable, just put it back.
Yeah,
No
put it
one
back
will
yourself.
notice. Because if I take it as a cashier, I have to throw it away. And
Okay.
it's amazing how much stuff I had to throw away in a day. It's crazy.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Interesting.
Well, go to the Facebook page if you would like to share. What do you think about this topic? Do you think this is something that would work well in your neighborhood or in a neighborhood that you, maybe that you're aware of? What are your thoughts? What if a fast food chain? I mean, how much food do fast food chains throw out?
Right.
Wouldn't it be really incredible if one of them could figure out a way to make this work, have a refrigerator outside for all the food that I'm sure they throw away a lot of food.
Yeah.
And my point of reference for that is The Blind Side, because the dad owned a lot of Taco Bells and they threw away food. So that's the only reason that I know.
Well, something. Or changing the law as far as, being able to take things to homeless shelters. I don't know, maybe they sign a waiver.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, but something should be done with how wasteful of a society we are, and there are so many people out there who don't have the money to
I
eat.
agree.
So I
agree.
think something should be done. Speaking of restaurants and eating, some people might call this wonderful. I call bullshit. Where's my button? Where is it, my bullshit button? Take precautions is bullshit. Okay, a restaurant in Canada. Did you hear about this?
No.
There's a restaurant in Canada who will give you a well-behaved kids discount.
Oh, I did hear about this. I didn't realize it was in Canada, though.
Yes, it was. It's a restaurant in Canada. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's great.
Define well behaved.
Well, I think just the manager or the server that's on, has the table is what they didn't really go into details, but basically they are able to give a well-behaved discount, which I'm assuming is it looks like either it's a flat $5 or it's like 10% of the bill. I'm not sure which one.
I think that's great, and I think as a business owner, you can decide what discount you want to give. So great, do that. I think what I'd really like to see is restaurants extend that to adults, because there are a lot of situations where adults are not so well behaved. So, like the bar.
Again, I call bullshit. Here's what I think a restaurant should do.
What?
When there's not behaved children, I think the people sitting next to them should get a $5 discount. Kids should be well behaved. This is part of the people are like, "Oh, your kids are so well behaved." What? That's a great thing. I mean, you should be able to control your kids when you're in public. So,
One would hope.
One would hope. So now, because I have well-behaved kids, which you really should now, granted, when you have a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old,
Okay.
sometimes they're crabby, sometimes they're whatever. I understand that. However, let's give the discount to the people who had to put up with the screaming kid.
I still don't see any harm in rewarding the kids because if you do the discount, the parents are going to be like, "Oh, wow, you guys did such a good job. You're so well behaved." So that does reward the kids for that.
Uh-huh.
You reward the parents, you reward the kids. So I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that's a good thing.
Well, what about the kid?
So you're
what
saying
about
that being,
the restaurant?
No, but hold on a second.
Wait.
You're saying that kids being well behaved is a given, but it's not.
It's
not always a given.
It's not always a given, but what I'm saying is I'd rather have a discount. When my kids were 2 or 3 and throwing a fit at a restaurant, I would rather the restaurant owner say to the table next to us, "I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. Here's $5 off."
And we're charging.
Would you? But
And we're charging them more. Okay,
as a parent, though, wouldn't you get angry though? You'd be like, "Well, my kids aren't that bad. Have you seen the?"
Oh no!
Or
When my kids are not behave. When my kids were little and they were not behaving, I was the one that would go to the table next and go, "I'm really sorry."
okay, what about this? What about the parents who are there's definitely parents out there that are not balanced people, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, what about the parents who take their kids to this restaurant and the kids are horrible and they don't get the discount and then they go home and they beat their kids because they didn't get the $5? It's a lawsuit waiting to happen. I'm telling you, it really is.
Everything's leading back to lawsuits.
It is.
Unfortunately, that's kind of what we've come to.
So I disagree with the $5. I just think it's a whatever.
I think it's a cute idea. It just probably could be like, I don't know, changed around a little bit.
I think it was an interesting marketing tactic because
Absolutely.
it got them some earned media. So, good job, smart marketer.
To the restaurant in Canada that we will never visit.
Exactly.
So I don't know really why we're worried about it. Screw it. It's Canada. I'm never going there anyway. So speaking of kids, though, I know you saw this article, which was the teacher that was caught on camera grabbing the kindergartner.
This is horrible. Okay, so guys, I want to hear from you. Give us a call. Let us know, what would you do if this was your kid?
Yeah, this is in Hancock County. Is this what, Indiana? Is this Indiana? You got to find out, Sam.
What's that?
Find out if the story is based in Indiana.
Give me a second.
Because which would really be funny and tie into the...
Which one is this again?
This is the kindergarten teacher that grabbed
It's Indiana.
It's Indiana. Okay,
Yeah.
Now this is kind of ironic because we have another story about Indiana in schools. So this teacher, this is a kindergartner. He is 6 years old, and the video shows this teacher grabbing him. Basically, I'm kind of like picking him up by his shirt.
Oh, yeah, you can see his neck. His neck absolutely tilts back, and he's on his tippy toes because she's pulling him up so high.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
I would go beat the shit out of her. And she was only suspended. I hope that
No,
this is just
you know what
a
would be better?
temporary. What would be
You
better?
know what would be better? Is to have some group of, I don't know, special forces, people that are specially trained to do things. Go into her house in the middle of the night, grab her out of bed, lift her up, scare the shit out of her.
Why not do that yourself, though? I feel like I'd have to do it myself.
As long as I knew it
Lawsuit.
happened. But see, I haven't been trained. I wouldn't know how to stealthily sneak into her house.
Did you see this lady? I mean, she's not going to hurt you. This lady's like 60 years old. I mean, we're not even talking. I mean, this is supposed to be a cute little old lady that gives you milk and cookies.
I just think that if you're going to like do some, I feel like in my brain, I'm envisioning like SWAT team, military team, like special forces, rangers, I don't know, like
Yeah.
going in the middle of the night.
You're thinking we should make a movie out of this shit. You want to be on the ID channel is what you want to be on. She's aiming for the ID channel. However, here's my issue with this is I think that she just had a suspension for 10 days which just takes her to the end of school.
Exactly.
She should be fired.
I absolutely agree. She should not be allowed to be near any kids.
No.
I really want to know how long those cameras have been up, and did she know that the cameras were there? And I also am really curious as to if there's any other complaints against her. So those would be the things that I want to know about. And is there a national registry of teachers so that would prevent her from going to any other school to teach?
It's Ohio, by the way.
Oh, is it Ohio?
Yeah.
I thought it was Indiana.
Weird things happen in Ohio, though.
Hey, what's wrong with Ohio? Don't be talking about us Buckeyes. No, personally, well, okay, first of all, if she knew the cameras were there, which I can't imagine that she didn't know they
Or
were
she
there.
didn't think people were paying attention.
And that could be too. But if that's the behavior that she displays, knowing there's a camera there, what the hell goes on in her room
Right.
where there isn't a camera?
And there should be cameras in
That's
the
what's
rooms.
scary.
There absolutely should be cameras in all classrooms.
Well, I don't know, but she is not a grandma with milk and cookies. I
She
know that
must
for
have had
sure.
to deal with some serious kids to get to that point, though.
But then you shouldn't be a teacher.
No, I agree.
You know,
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying, it's like, what can make us, what did he do to make her do that?
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience to be a teacher. I could definitely not
a
be
hell of
one.
a lot of patience.
Yeah, so she's definitely someone who shouldn't be. But speaking of teachers and education, this is in Indiana, Northwest Indiana, a policy. The school board did approve this 7-1 that effective July 1st, teachers will be able to carry a gun in the school.
Yep, the school board voted
Mhm.
7-0 to allow school
Yep.
board and school administrators to carry guns.
Officials who wish to carry guns must attend a 6-hour session of firearm basics, a 40-hour course on crisis management and defensive tactics, 2 annual training exercises. Guns must be carried in a holster, cannot be stored inside school buildings. Potential participants also would be required to take a psychological evaluation at least once a year. So are you for it, Christina, or are you against it?
Here's the thing. When I was in high school, I never thought about what scenarios might happen if someone came to the school with a gun. The fact that I've got two teenagers, both in high school. The fact that they have had conversations about this, the fact that they have drills about what to do, the fact that my daughter has actually thought through what to do and how she's going to get to her younger brother to protect him in this event is heartbreaking. I mean, this is where we're at. This is a real threat. This happens. So, yes, I'm absolutely for this. I'm absolutely for this, provided that there are protections in place. So right now, anyone can walk into a school with a gun. I walk into Dobson High School, and I can get all the way into the school without anyone asking me what's going on, what I'm there for, why I'm there.
But isn't that the issue? The issue is the schools need to be more secure. I absolutely agree with that.
Okay.
However,
But the only way you're going to make it more secure,
is allow one person in there with a gun? If
Yep.
they're, you know how big Dobson High is. Let's
Yep.
talk about that. So you allow a school official who is at the east side of the campus to have a gun. You have absolutely no security, and like you said, you can absolutely get in there without anything happening. Someone comes in with 3 automatic whatever. How many people are they going to take out before that one official has a gun?
Okay, but why does it have to be either or? Why not have a locked campus? Because right now it's partially locked. I mean, anyone can walk through the front door. Why not have a locked, secure campus? I think we have a caller.
No, it's gone. You guys are too
Okay.
slow.
Okay.
Just bring them in, Sam.
You're too slow.
Okay.
Okay.
Why not have a locked campus?
Mhm.
And why not have a few administrators or trained teachers, or for that matter, maybe we have some veterans that would be more than happy to volunteer their time.
Then that's something different. That's something different, and that's about securing the campus. I think when you start allowing teachers to carry a gun, school is supposed to be a safe place for kids to go. And if you're now going to allow teachers and administratives and everyone to have a gun, what happens when that kindergarten teacher,
Gets angry.
she's the one that's allowed to have a gun? And
Okay,
now
but
she's angry.
But hold on a second. Psychological evaluations, training. So we're not saying that anybody can have a gun.
Okay, first of all, having training is definitely necessary. However, that doesn't keep a gun out of a hand of someone who shouldn't have it around children. And how many people that are crazy have passed psychological exams?
I'm sure a lot.
Okay,
How many people who are crazy and have taken guns from their parents that have every right to have a gun have gone into the school and shot up?
so
Yes.
again, let's go back to the security of a campus. You should not be able to, like you said, you can go on to Dobson High and get in as far as you can. That's the issue. The issue is securing the campuses and the schools. And that I understand, and that I think absolutely something needs to be done with that. There need to be, whether it's
So like
police.
my old high school had 2 cops. They have 2 cops at all times, and there's only a couple ways to get into that school now because there's high fences. So unless you're climbing a fence, which people are going to notice because there are cameras on my old campus, that's the biggest security. What would you guys say about like metal detectors?
Mesa High School
Maybe
has
just
metal detectors.
for-
I think that's great. I think that I think we are at a point where we have to do everything possible to ensure that when we're sending our kids to get an education, that they're safe. And maybe the answer isn't giving teachers, maybe that's not the end-all be-all answer. Maybe the answer is letting retired vets come onto the school campus and do that. I mean, they've been trained, they've been vetted, so maybe that's the solution. But we have to have a solution because this is becoming too big of a problem.
I agree with that. I just don't think what Indiana has decided as far as passing that is the solution. I think that it's going to cause so many more issues than what people are looking at.
Well, maybe this is the first step. Maybe other schools will start to look at, when you see one school doing something, maybe that opens up the dialogue and the conversations for someone else to come along and do it better. Maybe I need to get on the school board.
Have you passed your psychological exam?
What do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I could not get a firearm?
Well, that's my whole point. You could be crazy, and you absolutely could pass your psychological exam, and then where will we be? You'll be carrying a gun in there, and someone will say, "Nice boots," and you'll go off on them. So that's what I'm saying. So we just had a listener send me a text that says, teachers don't need to carry weapons, they need to teach. I could put hundreds of, hold please.
I could put hundreds of highly trained vets to work. I would pay them $15 an hour. Okay, who's going to pay them? Where are those monies going to come from? We already don't have enough money to pay teachers what they're worth.
No, we have it. We just don't use it wisely. So that's what it is. Our kids' safety at a school, because for some kids, school is the only safe place. And that's sad to say and a sad realization, but the reality is there's many kids out there that the only time they feel safe is when they're at school. So you know what? Our kids deserve to feel like when they walk into that school, and I don't care if there's only one way in and there's only one way out, and they have to go through a metal detector and they have to answer 10 questions on the way in, if they're going to be safe once they walk through that door, then it's worth it.
I agree.
It's absolutely worth it.
So the schools do have enough money, but because of things like so many different districts and policies and administrative issues, that's why the money isn't going into the classrooms?
Well, I would say so, don't you?
I think so. So if we were to fix all of that, then we might have the money to protect our kids?
Absolutely. We have to make it a priority.
Who's running on that platform? Anyone?
I doubt it.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. So gun threats, yeah, but what about the other things that people run into with different threats at the school? How would you get around those? Like, for example, my junior year, we had a bomb threat, and that was I sat outside for 5 hours. I lost an entire day of school sitting out by the ag barn next to cows and pigs for the day because we had a bomb threat.
Look at the memory you have. I think you should not be complaining about this.
I have somebody calling in real quick, so hold on a sec.
All right.
She was sitting next to the ag barn where there's
Here.
fertilizer. Bomb threat. Get near the fertilizer.
Hi there, listener.
Thanks for calling in. You are live on No Limits Radio Show. What are your thoughts on this topic?
I have a question. If you don't mind asking me the question in this video, first of all, this is a very good production that you're doing, very good quality audio and display. It's brilliant.
Thank you. And what is your name?
So my name is Nilesh. I'm learning from how you're doing it.
Wow.
Although I have a child, but the child is grown up, and yes, I understand the complexity that people run into in these issues regarding guns, and I do have my position and opinion that we should not have guns at all.
Nilesh, where are you calling?
People.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from some place near Seattle.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much for listening.
Where
Okay,
are
so
you based?
so
Where are
you
you based?
we are in Scottsdale, Arizona.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
Well, thank you for calling in.
Which camera are you using?
No idea.
I have no idea. So you're looking for some technical answers, and we would love to help you with that. With that question, let's connect after the show. But so you said that you don't think that there should be guns in the school?
Yeah, we don't need guns in homes either. Why do we need them? That's my personal position.
Okay, well, we need to have, we have the right to have a gun, and we have the right to have them in homes in the event that someone breaks into your home. You have the right and I think the responsibility to protect yourself, because it's not always going to be the case that the police will be there in time.
I know, having the right is one thing, but the need is not there. I'm not talking about the rights and the law and all that. I'm talking about the need to carry gun. There is no need in this country. It's such a nice country.
Where do you live?
You live in Seattle? I mean, you do understand that. Yes, I mean, I love the United
Seattle
States.
has the right to smoke pot. That's why.
So they're all nice in Seattle? Is that what you're saying because they're high? But
maybe I have not seen the entire nation. But I believe my perspective is that this is a very good country. I come from a different country in this country. I have seen difficult situations. There is a need to carry guns in other places. There is no need in this country. People are still.
We actually, so I agree with you. This is a great country.
And I agree that there are a lot of citizens here who have it way, way better than other countries.
Absolutely.
So I'm not dismissing that.
Absolutely. We recently had a situation last week where a woman had a break-in at her home and shot the intruder. The police couldn't get there in time. So thankfully she had a gun when the intruder went to attack her with a hammer that he found outside. She happened to run into her bathroom where she had a gun in her bathroom, and she was able to shoot and defend herself. So maybe it's just that you're not aware of that, but I absolutely...
Quite possibly.
Yes.
Quite possibly I'm not aware.
Well,
Thank you for calling in. We do have another caller, but keep listening. We'd love to. And put your comments on Facebook. We'd love to hear more.
Thank you so much. All right.
All right.
All right.
Caller?
And you are live on No Limits. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Are we talking about the arms?
Whatever.
What would you like to talk about? What would you like to talk about, darling?
Well, I logged in on your thing about having teachers having weapons on school grounds.
Okay, and what is your name?
My name is Ed.
Ed, where are you calling from?
Queen Creek.
Well, thank you for listening, and thank you for calling in. So yes, we are talking about having guns on campus to protect students, and this happened in Indiana, where a school board voted 7-0. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think it's a mistake, and I think it's a good idea in principle, but I think it's a mistake.
Okay, and why?
Well, because you have police officers and military who have hours and hours of training on how to use a weapon, and then you've got a teacher who may have to go to a class and learn how to shoot a weapon. And what's the qualification criteria going to be to carry a gun in the classroom? That he's got to learn how to be an expert shooter, so in the event he does fire his firearm, that he could hit something without missing. The thing that scares me the most is the teacher that's not going to be a very good shot, who maybe have to have his glasses, drops his glasses or something, and hits the wrong student, and the person's not, maybe they're going to overreact, and this is the thing that the cops use a lot. Well, I saw something shiny, so I could shoot the person. Well, is the teacher going to do the same thing? I thought I saw a gun. I thought I saw something shiny. A student's running down the hallway, and he's just going to unload his weapon because if some student is running down the hallway and there's other students in the hallway. I think that's a mistake, and I think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a lot more trouble than what they realize, and just haven't put that much thought into it.
Ed, would you be a fan of retired military being on campuses with guns?
I would. I like Joe Arpaio has a lot of deputies that volunteer. I think that's a good idea to have that. And if somebody's retired military and has a lot of training on that, I think that's a deterrent. Anything similar to that is going to be a deterrent, I think. But to have the teachers, no.
Okay.
I think it's a mistake.
Are you are you former military or police by chance?
I am still military.
Still military.
I'm Army National Guard.
Well, thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
And thank you for calling in. We're actually up against a break.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you so much. I hope you continue to listen to the rest of the show. We really appreciate your comments, your service, and thank you for calling in.
Oh, you're welcome. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, so it's break time?
It's break time.
All right, we'll be back.
How about that bandit? You got some ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in your life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you or someone you know suffering from eczema, diabetes, or vitamin deficiencies? Then I can share with you something to help remedy that with health and wellness. It can be a business plan too, which is a great opportunity to meet and interact with all types of people who care about changing lives. So when you are ready to make a difference, call Jamie at 602-295-9969. That's 602-295-9969.
Hey everyone, it's Adam from Vets On. Are you or someone you know looking for employment? Then look no further than iVetX. iVetX is placing veterans with the right hiring companies. Join their mission in putting veterans in inspiring careers with ensured success. Access their national pipeline of military talent for companies. All veterans are pre-screened for 55 soft skill sets, 800 clarification types, education, experience, salary range, and so much more. iVetX can help you find the perfect job to veteran match. Your skills are based on what's needed for success in that job. If you're a hiring company or a veteran looking for your next career, then get started today and go to www.ivetx.com. iVetX, bridging the employer-veteran gap by putting Americans' veterans to work today.
You're listening to the No Limits Radio Show on the Vets On Media Network.
Welcome back.
Hi, welcome back.
And we're back.
And we're back. Yes, we are.
Did you guys hear what we were talking about when we weren't live? No, you didn't.
I guess they probably weren't, huh?
No, you didn't.
It was pretty good.
Missed it.
Wouldn't it be amazing if everyone could hear what we're talking about during? No?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
All right.
I don't think so.
Well, I'm Christina.
And I'm Michelle.
And Sam is over there making sure that we sound pretty. Woo.
She does a great job.
Thank you. Great topic. It's been really interesting talking about guns in schools and getting some different points of views, and really appreciate that.
And I love the fact that our one caller in Seattle thinks there's no reason for guns because, like, I want to go live in his bubble. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's awesome. Yeah. I really, really do. I'm like, I just want to live in his little bubble that he lives in, and he doesn't have to worry about anything that goes on the news. So, but anyway, on a lighter note, and because we do have a guest in today, so we definitely want to get to her and her story. So the last thing we're going to talk about is, can you guess? It's all over the media.
Net neutrality?
No. You were like, let's talk about that. And I'm like, what is it? Who cares? And no. Shit, it's the internet. Who cares? Whatever. Yeah, I'm like, what are we doing? No.
All right, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, no, we won't. We're going to talk about Donald Sterling.
Again?
He is refusing to pay the fine and now threatens to sue the NBA.
Okay, so Sam, can you play a short clip of what it was that he said?
I guess that you don't know that. Maybe you're stupid. Maybe you don't know what people think of you. It does matter, yeah. It matters.
Do you know that I'm mixed?
No, I don't know.
You know that I'm mixed.
You told me you were going to remove those. You said, yes, I understand you. I mean, you change from day to day. Wow. So painful. Wow.
People call you and tell you that I have black people on my Instagram, and it bothers you.
Yeah.
Okay, so this whole thing is about her having pictures taken with black people on her Instagram.
Correct.
And him not wanting people to call him about those pictures.
Right.
And there's definitely some, I mean, it's pretty clear she had an agenda. They were in private home. She was recording this. You can tell as you're listening to it, you can tell that she has an agenda for what she's going to direct him to say and how she needs to say it to get him to respond to that, because she knows he's a racist and she knows that it's going to be easy to back him into this corner. Mm-hmm. So the thing that I question about this is, are we all upset because he thinks these things? are we all upset because he said these things in the privacy of his own home? And this girl is never going to have a relationship with anyone.
Well, first of all, there's so
Ever.
there's so many other things that when this story came out that I thought of, which was one, why is she with him? Because come on, he's not good looking. He's like 40 years older than her.
Purely the money.
Two, he's married, so what in the hell is his wife thinking? She's like, oh yeah, go ahead, bring her to the game, do whatever. So that's odd to me.
Right.
And third, you know what? I don't even understand why this is a story, because it was in the privacy of his own home. And if anyone out there is going to tell me that you have never said something that could be construed as racist in the privacy of your own home ever, whether you are white, black, Mexican, Asian, I don't care, then you're a liar.
Right.
Because none of us are perfect. We are all human. We all make errors. And when you're in your home, you should be able to say what you want to say.
And I think the point that Mark Cuban brought up, which was, we need to all be careful here. This is a slippery slope, because what have other owners said in the privacy of their own home, and what might happen to other owners? And Donald Sterling isn't the only one that owns the team. It's actually owned by the Sterling Family Trust, which is him and his wife, and the beneficiary of this is their kids. So legal ramifications, because first of all, he's refused to pay the $2.5 million fine. They're also wanting to vote
What's
him
the fine
out.
for exactly?
The fine is for not obeying league rules, I believe.
There's something in the contract saying that you cannot have any actions or statements that can hurt the members of the NBA.
Okay.
Okay,
so
which
one of
is
those
a pretty
clean images. Yeah.
Right, but that's a pretty vague statement. I mean, are we talking? You could throw anything into that clause and make it stick if you wanted to.
True.
But he is refusing to pay that. And when I heard the clip, I actually, and this has been going on for how long? And I actually
too long.
Weeks. But I actually listened to it last night or this morning, and I texted Christina and I'm like, is that all he said? Because I mean, literally, like I thought from how much it's
Blown
getting,
up.
I'm like, he must have been like going on and on and on, and I'm like, well, is that all he said? So he doesn't want. He doesn't want that he doesn't want that out there. What his reasons are, he really doesn't even go into. So who knows what his reasons are? How do you know that other owners aren't like, boy, you're not controlling your mistress, or your wife's mad because your mistress is with a black guy? I don't know. We don't know. None of us know really where that conversation came from and what conversations they've had prior.
Well, it's interesting. If you on the No Limits Radio Show event, we shared this story, and we've gotten a lot of comments, a lot of feedback on that. And by the way, I want to thank you all for taking the time to comment on these stories in here and to share your opinion. We had also done a poll on that guns in school, and we got a lot of feedback on that one. So I really appreciate that. Some really interesting comments here. Jamise Liddell, who is the founder of Arizona Women in Media, shared that it turns out that Sterling actually knew that he was being taped, that this is why this woman has hundreds of hours of tapes, and so this is some other sides to it that he knew. He also is a slumlord. So is it just about the things that he said, or is this all stuff that has been par for the course and has been going on for quite some time, and now the NBA just has something substantial that they can say, all right, this is it. So is that the case? I don't know, but going back to, so I don't know if he knew that he was being taped or if he didn't. I'm surprised that there aren't any legal ramifications against the mistress, girlfriend, V. Stevani, for taping someone.
Right.
You can't take a picture of someone and then post it on a site, but you can take my words and you can post it without my permission.
Right.
That's not okay.
No, I agree.
But I really appreciate all of your
I think we should just let it go.
I don't know.
Let it go.
Personally, I really don't care. Like, I keep seeing it and I go, yeah, that's cool.
Let the guy be a racist and die a lonely
whatever,
man. I mean, whatever.
We
just
all
let it go.
have our thing, whatever. It's fine. They can get over it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just going
She
on
says,
too
okay.
long. It's just, I don't know.
You're ready for it to be done. Okay,
Yeah, whatever.
Last article, and then I know we're going to take a break after this one because we do have a guest in today that we want to get on air. However,
Is this the military?
Yes.
Good job.
Military prisons won't let Bradley, Bradley, a.k.a. Chelsea Manning, access hormone therapy. Now listen, when he joined the military, he was Bradley. So, he's Bradley.
Okay, he identifies now with Chelsea, so I'm going to honor that and call her Chelsea.
Call him Chelsea? Well, you're really honoring that one. No, I'm just kidding.
Himmer.
If someone wants to find out about this person, they're going to have to look as far as the military record under Bradley Manning.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But yes, Bradley, Manning, Manning prefers to does associate more with the feminine side.
Yep.
So prefers to be called Chelsea Manning.
Correct.
Is in prison right now for, I believe, leaking some national security. It was a national security leak. Huge issue.
Yeah.
Okay. When you join the military, you know that if you get in trouble, you're going to you're going through the military court system. You're not going through, you're not going to the little, you're not going to the little courthouse in downtown Phoenix.
Right.
And you know that going in.
You're going to see the big boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're dealing with a whole different thing.
Right.
And you know that when you join. So, if it is a medical, and I understand that psychologists will call this a medical item, however, he's not going to die if he doesn't get his hormone treatment. Right?
I'm sorry, somebody just commented and it's just making me laugh so hard.
Are you going to share? Here, I'll share.
I can't say it.
Oh, I'll share. Manning wants to be the bottom bitch in prison. Well, that's what our listener said. So, since he does...
We're not responsible for the thoughts or comments.
That's right. That wasn't our comment.
Of our listeners.
But the point is, should we pay? And what it really comes down to is, should this individual be allowed to go outside of the military prison and be transferred to a regular citizens prison so that he can, that they can get
Absolutely
the treatment?
not.
And I say absolutely not.
I have a question.
Kimmy,
Were they changed by the time they got into prison?
No.
Or
No.
it happened afterwards?
He wanted to undergo this process after he went to prison. Kimmy Noe put it best when she said that this is like sending your kids to their bedroom when they're grounded and then giving them milk and cookies.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, no, he should not be transferred. And what's unbelievable to me as I was researching...
Why can't they take care of him in the place he's at now?
They don't have the
Because
the technology to do it. They're not able to do it.
No. It's not that. The military does not support going through the transformation.
Right, because the military will not allow transgender serving in the military. So even though he's in prison, he's still considered to be in the military.
Correct.
What's amazing to me as I was reading this story is that in private person, let's say he was transferred to a private prison, he could get those services there, and we're all paying for it.
Correct.
That is bullshit.
I think whether it's military or non-military, the reality is you go to prison, you don't get to have lifts and everything else done for us to pay for. Sorry.
Did you know that for a prison inmate, the cost is $45,000 a year on average? The cost to house them is $45,000 a year that we are paying for. That is bullshit. I'm sorry, but I really think that when they are in prison, that there are jobs and there's work that they could be doing to earn the money that it costs to house them.
Absolutely.
So that burden is not being put on us. And my last thought regarding prison is once they have served their time and they're out, as far as I'm concerned, they've served their time.
That depends on the crime.
Can I
Sorry.
finish?
Yeah.
What happens right now is even if it's a white-collar, non-violent crime, they come out, they have this stamp of felon, they're not able to vote, they can't live in crime-free neighborhoods. We're basically putting them right back into the same environment and then wondering, why the hell isn't anything changing in your life? Why aren't you rehabilitated? Well, we've put them in prison where they're surrounded by criminals that have skills that you go in there as a petty drug lord, and you come out with the ability to do even bigger
So you're
crimes.
telling me if I'm put in for a white-collar crime and I'm a felon, and if I get out because of the fact that I couldn't vote or carry a gun or live in a certain part of Scottsdale, I'm not going to succeed? That I'm allowed to, or I should be expected to repeat a crime because I'm not rehabilitated because I can't vote?
You think that by not allowing you to be in, you think your neighborhood, your environment doesn't affect you? You think by having that title, that when you're filling out that application, I have a felon, you really think that that's not affecting your ability to rehabilitate?
There are tons of places that allow felons that aren't the hood. You're making it sound like the only place a felon can live is the hood. That's not true.
What about a
I
job?
actually know my job hires non-violent
don't.
felons.
Most
Well, then
don't.
that's the issue.
Why do they have to check that box? Yes, I am a felon. Why do we care? If you've served your time, if you've paid your debt to society, it's paid. It's done. Now move on.
So if you have had 4 DUIs and your last one you killed 4 people while driving a car, you go to prison and you come out and you should have the same right as someone who's never got behind the wheel drinking and driving? I mean, that's what I'm saying. You can't, yeah, they paid their time. They also killed 4 people. And the likelihood of them doing it again, regardless of where they live or if they can vote, is pretty high, unless they made the conscious decision to become a better person. And if you have made the conscious decision to be a better person,
You'll find a way.
then you should know, you know what? I did the crime. These are the consequences. These are my consequences. I can't vote. I can't carry a gun. I can't live in Upper Scottsdale. Period.
And on that note, ladies,
And on that note, we gotta take a break.
I have to tell you guys to be quiet. That was very good. Yeah.
All right.
All right, I'm Christina.
And I'm Michelle.
We don't always agree. This is No Limits Radio.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in their life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
Would your goal be to get you and your family out of debt? I can show you how thousands of people and families are doing just that. This is a business plan made simple. We offer everything from weight loss products to green cleaning solutions. Whether you're interested in making it a full-time or part-time opportunity to become debt-free, or if you are just sick and tired of being sick and tired, call Jamie at 602-295-9969. That's 602-295-9969.
Breaker, 1-9. How about that bandit? You got some ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
What are you doing Saturday, May 24th, 2014? You should be joining us to help raise money for fallen heroes and wounded veterans. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. The American Legion Riders Post 34, in cooperation with its major sponsor, Vets On Media, is honored to present the inaugural Memorial Day Ride 2014. 100% of the net proceeds raised at this event will go directly to charity, benefiting the Military Assistance Mission, the Army Emergency Relief Fund, and Wounded Heroes at the Balboa Naval Hospital. This event is veteran-focused from start to finish. The event begins at 0730 at the National Guard Armory located at 52nd Street in McDowell. There will be a breakfast and a chance to connect with over 3 dozen veteran businesses. A ride through the National Cemetery will also take place to honor the fallen. The ride will end at American Legion Post 34 in Cave Creek, where there will be a full barbecue of hamburgers, brats, baked beans, potato salad, live music, comedians, and numerous raffle items. So join us by registering now at vetsonmedia.com or on the day of the event. Don't forget to tell a friend and make a difference in the lives of those that have given so much. Again, go to vetsonmedia.com to pre-register today.
Head out on the highway.
You're listening to the No Limits Radio Show on the Vets on Media Network.
All right, we got a little bit heated there.
We did. But that's okay, because now we're totally changing the subject.
Yeah.
Sam, are you ready?
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that make me.
And we're talking about sex.
We're talking about sex.
Oh boy. Talk about a complete shift. Although we were talking about prison, I'm sure
we can tie it in somehow.
Oh, boy. Yes, totally.
Yeah. Are there any prison stories in this book?
No.
Anything
Maybe
that
the next
should have
one.
sent you to prison? So in studio we have artist, lecturer, and author Lucretia Torva, and she has written a book, Sex, the Punctuation Mark of Life, which is her stories and accounts of different sexual experiences with young men, older men, a few women thrown in the mix there. So she's really not
shy.
There's no prejudice,
No filter.
Not much.
Because these are your stories. These
Correct.
are. This is all about your sex.
My sex, yes. Well, and others that I was having the sex with.
Oh, it's not just your own sex. I get it.
Did you get their permission to share?
The names are changed.
Does Jim know that he's in here?
Some of those stories are a real long time ago. We're talking decades ago.
So they might be dead.
Actually, some of the men are dead.
But not
Good
for
job,
sex.
Christina.
Really, Christina?
Good
We're going to
job,
bring up a
Christina.
damper. You know, we are a limited time. I want to get into the sex.
Okay,
Let's talk about the sex.
Who is this book written for? Is it for men? Is it for women? Because if it's for women, as you open with this first story that's about sex with a married man, how do women respond to that?
That's a good question. It's written for both men and women.
Okay.
I'm sharing my experiences because people can either relate to them in some cases, like, oh, that's what happened to me, and I did that too. I'm not the only one.
Right.
Or they can live vicariously and learn and be entertained. So I'm not saying that stuff is right or wrong.
Okay.
But it is an experience I had, and I think that some people will relate to it. And I write it as if I'm talking. It's kind of what goes through my head. So there are comments about why, or does it matter? It didn't matter to me then. I was very young when I had
Right,
that.
right. And at that young age, you were in your 20s?
I was 18.
18.
Oh my
18.
gosh. Yeah, it was a
So-
long time ago, so you
right.
don't even know.
I was 18 and he was 28.
Wow.
So what did I really know?
You know what was interesting? I heard on another interview that you have kids, which in all this time that I've known you, I didn't realize that you had kids. Do your kids know about the book?
Yes, they do.
Oh, wait. Okay, how old are your kids?
24 and 25.
Okay.
Yeah, but even when I'm 41.
She acts like she doesn't know.
I forget.
You're 41.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm 41, and hearing my mom talk about sex, I'm just like, ugh. So maybe that's my issue.
Well, it took a bit of nerve. I had to kind of get up the nerve to tell them. My daughter's 24, and I ended up having a really nice conversation with her because we ended up talking about sex and dealing with relationships and all of that. And so she seemed really amenable to it. And then I talked to my son, and that's the one I was really worried about. I mean, mom, son thing. And when I explained what I had done and how fast and, it's published, she says, Mom, that is sick. But of course, He said, I probably won't be reading it right away.
He's going to wait until he's like your age before he reads it.
Probably, but he's totally supportive.
Yeah, it's hard to think of your parents having sex.
My dad, I know everything about my parents' sex life.
Really?
Yes.
I know nothing about mine.
My dad actually told me once, all I do, Michelle, is flip the light on and off, and your mom knows I want it. And I'm like, well, thanks
Wow.
for telling me, Dad.
That's
if I see
simple.
if I see a disco light going on with the, behind the door, and I see it like this, it's like, yeah, I think I'm not.
Time to go.
Yeah, time to go find somewhere to go. I'll
Does
go to
that
the
work?
wine store.
Does it work for him?
Well, they've been married like 47 years, so I guess so.
Wow,
I
it
guess
must
it
work.
works fine.
That's great.
I
Don't
just
get any
didn't
thoughts, Rob.
need- right? I just didn't need to know about it. That's all I was saying.
So chapter 2 is all about masturbation, and apparently May 28th is Masturbation Day.
National Masturbation Day. Yes.
National Masturbation
There's
Day.
National Everything Day
Will you,
anymore.
be, will you be staying home from work that day?
Well, I think there must be ways to honor that,
I'm sure there
maybe
are.
get a company circle jerk going or something.
Oh. Well, that's something completely different. I'm looking at a chapter in her book.
Right, what is the chapter?
And now for something completely different.
So what is completely different?
Oh, that's going in the other way.
The exit?
Going
That's what's
in the other way?
Yeah.
Oh, anal sex.
Yes. Oh, I can say that. I'm not sure what all I can say.
You
on
can
the
say
radio.
fuck, shit, damn.
Oh, wow,
cum.
really? I can
You
say fuck?
Thank
Thank you.
After reading the first chapter of that book, I know that that's a word that you like.
I really like the word
I was
fuck.
like, I did not know that about her.
I have managed to do the good behavior thing because I'm self-employed and I need to relate to people that have nice homes because I do decorative painting, high-end interior designers. So I'm not going to be going around going fuck, 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 fuck.
Right.
And that's the Lucretia that I know. So as I open this book and I start reading, I'm like, what? Huh? Wait, who
is this?
Did she actually write this?
Every word.
Okay, so
the pink hair doesn't give it away.
This is a new thing.
Oh, okay.
Off and on. I do the bright
Comes and
hair.
goes. I love it.
Okay, so sex.
Pause. Is that,
She lost her
is
thought.
that a pregnant pause?
You know what's funny is that this topic, like, when I started the show, it was we should be able to talk about anything. This is one of the most uncomfortable topics for me to talk about.
Really?
Yes. Talking about sex. Like, listen, I was 18 before
Wasn't
I
that
had
your pitch?
I was 18 before I had sex too, but what's that got to do with anything?
My pitch was we shouldn't not have the conversation. That doesn't mean that I'm comfortable to talk about the conversation.
That's good. Getting out of your comfort zone.
Oh, I'm
is good.
so out of my comfort
That's
zone
good.
right now.
Okay, so we were talking about anal. I'll go back to the
right.
Christina. We're going to go back because she's our expert here right now. Should all
Okay.
women try it?
That's really up to them. They have to have a good partner to be able to try it without fear and without
Pain.
distress
Pain.
and lubrication.
Pain.
So you don't want to try anal with like the guy you picked up at the bar.
Probably not.
Probably not. But if you're in a relationship and you trust the
You're
person
comfortable with the
you're
person
comfortable.
and they don't force it on you. I mean, it's not something that you can just do instantly.
I would.
I love the look.
Christina.
I hope you guys are
Christina's
watching.
face
The
is
look on
great.
Christina's face
Oh
is
my gosh.
hilarious. Okay, so we're gonna let's move on because I love making you uncomfortable. Okay, we already know anal sex is out for Christina. She's like,
No.
never gonna try it. Forget it. Sorry, Rob, you're out
isn't
there.
there some preparation that needs to take place beforehand? I mean, like, what if all of a sudden you've got a shitty mess?
Actually, that
Never mind. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on this, but you're not.
chances are that happening are pretty
Chances
slim.
are.
Chances are of that happening is not very good. I mean, because kind of your muscles kind of seize up. You don't do that.
And that
You
stuff
don't-
all stays in.
Yes.
We'll talk about anything. We're now talking about shit on the dick. I mean, god damn. Okay, so we already know Christina and anal. She's like, no, what? Masturbation, Christina.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about
Should
it?
we all masturbate?
I think it's very good. It's because that helps you know yourself. And then if you know yourself, it's like with any aspect of your life. If you know yourself, you're able to make decisions and ask for things or do things that make sense for you and your personality. and your body. Everybody's bodies are different. I mean, you can read articles about what turn women on and stuff, but it may not be specific to you.
Right.
True.
So it doesn't help you.
And I think what like excites one woman might be completely different from what excites another woman. Like,
oh, here we go.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to know.
Okay, I'm
Yes,
not going to share
we're
what
listening.
excites me, okay? But like, it seems like in every porno, the girl's like, "Oh yeah, come all over me." Well, that's just messy and ew. Like, no,
Bodily fluids.
Don't come all over me. And no, I'm not going to swallow that because that's just.
Okay,
So is that just me?
No anal, no swallowing. We've learned so much about Christina
Christine,
today.
yeah, we're learning a lot about her, aren't we? Well, my question
And he
is,
still wants to marry me.
I'm wondering why you would find some parts of it gross when you do some parts of it. I mean, like, if you'll let the semen go inside of you in your vagina, what's the difference between doing that and putting it in your mouth? There's still your body.
Well, I might have to disagree with there because I'll eat a hot dog, but I don't want it in my vagina. So, you know, it's kind of reverse.
Have you tried though?
No.
It's just a hot dog.
It's just. I take it she's tried it before.
I haven't tried a hot dog, but I mean, I'm like, what's the harm in that?
Bratwurst.
Of course, they're not very big around.
Cucumber.
Zucchini. Melon.
Yeah, cucumbers and zucchinis are probably better. Cucumbers, you know, that skin on it keeps them from like fraying or, you know.
Right. But then, do you? Here, kids, salad.
No, I don't think so.
No, you really don't.
Throw it away.
Yeah, you use it for that. Bye-bye. Of course, if it was your own salad, it might be okay.
I was gonna say, I mean, hey, if you're down for oral, then what is it?
Right. I mean,
if your husband will do oral for you, then I'm
What's
sure
the
he wouldn't
difference?
mind eating the cucumber.
Yeah, so if it's all a mutually consenting thing, why wouldn't we have salad that went in those places?
Look at Christina.
Oh, good. See, you know what? We're actually laughing and having fun. Now, isn't that a good thing?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the best thing about life. You take things too seriously.
That is very true. We do.
When you wrote this book, is that what your reasoning was? You want people to be able to be more comfortable with it? You want people to...
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly entertainment value. I mean, that's primarily it. And yet, wrapped in and around the entertainment value is I do make comments about the position I am in that period of my life, or wondering what
You
the
mean
guy's
literal
thinking.
position?
No,
like missionary?
That too, but the position in my head, I mean, at different ages, I'm in different places in my life.
Right.
So I make those comments that are related to that. So yeah, it's entertainment, but it's also a chronological view of me 18 to about 2 years ago, 54 or so.
And how you've changed.
And there's changes, and I go through a period of celibacy because I was...
So what was that about?
Well, I had been having too much kind of inconsequential sex, and I had been attracting, as far as dating, men that didn't pay as much attention to me as I would like, and I'm like, well, this is my fault. It's not anybody else's. So it was kind of a personal development decision. I'd had a lot of fun. I'd tick some things off my sex bucket list. You know, I'm going to do this, do that. So I'm going to have a threesome. I'm going to get that kind of thing. So I ticked those things off, which is great. Checked, whatever. Check. But I knew that I needed to grow and be a better person and be happier from within. You know, just messing around with a bunch of dicks wasn't making me happy. So...
You mean like dicks literally and emotionally?
Literally and figuratively.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, sex bucket list. What were some of the things that were on your sex bucket list? Obviously, threesome.
The threesome.
Okay. Was that 2 guys?
Well, a threesome is, and this is how it's been explained to me by a guy. A threesome is 2 girls and a guy. A tag team is 2 guys and a girl.
Oh, okay.
So a threesome and tag team. And orgy was another one on
So
the list.
you've done all of those.
I did tick those ones off, yes.
How many people constitute an orgy?
An afternoon barbecue of about 20 people or something, but didn't necessarily mess around with all of them. But they're all kind of messing around in different rooms and then having a beer and a sandwich.
And the cucumber salad.
That's one of the stories in there. It's like
You know what?
The afternoon barbecue.
All the guys right now are wondering, is she going to be at the barbecue that's after Memorial Day?
Yeah. Can she please come? Oh, I didn't go,
Oh, such wit.
Such wit I have. Pregnant pause again.
Yeah. Christina, this really isn't your. But there was something in particular that you wanted to discuss as far as the sex. Help me out here.
Oh,
Positive.
As I was writing this, I realized and found online and talked to people that the sex positive movement is something that I'm very much in alignment with. And you can go on Wikipedia and you can find definitions of it, and there's different ones. Some people think it's just supporting LGBT stuff, but it's really supporting anyone's sexual desires, that they're all okay in a non-judgmental way. As long as it's between consenting adults and safe sex practices are used, who cares? So it's just being comfortable with yourself and non-judgmental of other people. It's kind of like, I'm friends with people that don't eat healthy like I do. I'm not going to try to change them or whatever.
Right.
So people get kind of wound up about sex stuff. It's like, oh, they're into that. I don't want to talk to them, Or they're not monogamous, or they're this, or they're, they like getting spanked and beaten. I found that out, and I don't want to talk to them anymore,
And that's kind of, do you think that's started maybe or become more popular because of 50 Shades of Grey?
No, the sex positive movement has been around longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly that gave it a little impetus. But, the 50 Shades of Grey story is so unrealistic. Have you read it?
Do you know the funniest thing? Okay, so I got to share with you. I kept hearing, we all know how comfortable I am with this topic of sex. I kept hearing about the book 50 Shades of Grey. And I'm going on the plane to visit somebody, and I've got books for the kids, but I have not brought anything for me. So I'm like, oh, shit, I need to stop and grab a book. So I go into the bookstore at the airport, and I go right to the personal and professional development area, and Sky says, why don't you get something fun, something that you'll enjoy? Take a break, relax. Okay, fine. Oh, I've heard this whole thing about 50 Shades of Grey. Have no clue what the book's about. I'm going to grab that. I grab that. I get on the plane. I start
You
reading
didn't know
it.
you didn't see the handcuffs on the front cover?
Maybe he was arrested. I don't know. So I get the book. I'm on the plane. I start reading it, realize what it's about. Holy shit. I put that book back in my backpack.
Aw, really?
You didn't read it?
No.
You know what?
Not till I got home and was in the privacy of my own home.
In your bedroom masturbating on a cucumber. So
making salad, chopping broccoli.
Oh, I don't think broccoli's a good idea. It might get stuck.
Oh man, that's too messy.
Yeah.
Dana Carvey.
That's messy.
Dana Carvey, chopping
Yeah,
broccoli.
Yeah, but
I
still
know.
for
It's just
masturbating.
One of the other
that's
shows
good.
on the media did that, the chopping broccoli thing.
Yeah. Chopping broccoli.
Chopping broccoli.
What I thought was interesting about the 50 Shades of Grey is I think it at least gave, for me, and I know it wasn't maybe not as that extreme for everyone who participates in that type of sex, but it did kind of give me an insight on like their reasoning behind it as far as like the control and the discipline, things like that. So I actually enjoyed it for that purpose, to just kind of get a glimpse into that lifestyle more than I would without reading
But
it.
in this was more real life. And I feel like 50 Shades of Grey isn't real life.
It's very
Definitely
fantasy. I mean, the hero is an unattainable hero.
Yeah,
The 27-year-old self-made billionaire who can fly planes, gliders, and play concert piano.
Right.
Yeah, there's all kinds of those guys out there.
Right.
Good luck with that. Where can people find the book?
Amazon.
Amazon.
Readily available in Kindle and paperback.
This is not a book to give to your teenager to talk about sex or to
No.
learn about sex. This is definitely for adults.
Yes.
She can't multitask.
She can't multitask. I don't know why she has her phone there or a computer. It's like
Because
dangerous.
I wanted to share with everyone the safe sex movement.
Sex positive movement?
Sex positive.
Which includes safe sex, but yes, the sex positive movement. Now, the interesting thing about people that do extreme sex, like BDSM or whatever,
right,
is their events tend to be very like they can drink and there's no fighting or something. Going to an event like a BDSM event, everybody gets along because they know their rules, they know themselves. They've thought about all this.
So I just got to share. Gia Heller shared a great picture on my profile, which I'm going to share in the thread. It's a woman standing there holding 2 rolls of Cottonelle toilet paper, a bit of this, a bit of that, and you're good to go. So back to that shitty conversation.
Shitty experience.
This was her response to that. I thought it was pretty funny. BDSM?
Bondage, discipline, sadomasochism. People who like to get bound up.
Does everyone have like cards?
Card carrying BDSM?
Yeah.
No, it's not that. It's just that if you're circulating those groups, they have. If somebody knows and they're comfortable with that kind of sexuality, they've thought about it. Whereas a lot of us haven't really thought about it. You just kind of go with the flow and whatever. But they've thought about it and they've had to come to terms with it. So when they have events for that, there's like really strong rules. No means no, and all this kind of stuff.
And are people just having sex?
Not
like right there in a big.
No, not literally fucking, but they might be tied up and getting beaten, or things like that.
How do you get invited to such an event? I mean, I'm just asking.
No,
I'm like, how do you?
It's not like it's just there, right? Hello.
Right, because I'm. Yeah,
is there a Facebook invite?
Right.
Yes, there is.
I didn't get that in my news feed.
There's a Facebook.
Yeah,
There's a Facebook?
I got invited
that
to a
makes
friend of mine on Facebook, and I saw an invite, and I went to it with a friend of mine.
Would you go again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you invite?
I don't want
her to go. So she can come back and talk about it on the show.
I found it very stimulating. I mean, I'm very much being very visual. I'm totally voyeur. I may decide to participate at some time, but watching butts get spanked was actually really exciting.
Maybe you would like it, Christina. Maybe you should try. This is called No Limits. I mean, maybe you should.
Well, see, the curiosity of it, and I'm always looking for great topics and things to talk about on this show, so I would want to go to see what's happening, but then I would come back and I would have a hard time talking about it.
Well, then you invite somebody from the BDSM community onto your show and they can talk about it.
I was going to say, they would probably...
Excuse me, when he's done slapping your ass, could I give you my card? I'm just going to put it right there.
No, but I think... And she is the prime example of this. There's a lot of people that think that that's something totally different, that it's this horrible type of whatever. And I feel like they would actually welcome people to come in and kind of see their community and what they're really all about.
They're perfectly nice people.
They just like to be tied up.
Or wear animal costumes. Or,
that's weird. Shit, you can spank my ass, but you are not going to put on a squirrel costume and try to eat me out. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, that's what that video, What Does the Fox Say, is about.
There you go.
I'm sorry, but the animals are weird.
Furries is what they're
Is there an animal chapter in here? They're called
Wait,
furries?
hold on a second. She's never been trick-or-treating, but she knows what this is.
They're called furries? Are they really called furries? Can I ask the expert?
Well, they call it that, like, when you go to, Comic-Con, for example, they call themselves furries. And that is kind of like an extension of it. That's kind of like the
comic version of it. Yeah. But people were dressing that way before.
Right. No, yeah, definitely.
The animal thing. Yeah, furries. It's the only one I've
So I
heard.
guess we're sending the intern to the BDSM.
Have you ever been a furry?
No, I've not. That doesn't really interest me very much.
Would you want to be with a furry?
Not really. It's too much fur.
Might get in the way.
Too much fur.
That's funny. Christina's still like she's totally off game.
Now, one of the things about the sex-positive movement, they talk about mutual consent is important. They also talk about enthusiastic consent. In other words, just being really enthusiastic about doing it instead of just like, well, okay. right? Because the enthusiasm and the passion needs to be there for it to be a really great experience.
All right, Joe, if you want to call in, you need to call in right now. Either that or type your question, and you got to be quick about it.
So basically what you're saying is if you're going to say, hey, I'll try this, I'm open to try it, then you have to give it 110%, just like everything in life that you should.
Right, because otherwise it's not going to turn out really well. And I'll be like, well, that wasn't very good. Why, you weren't very enthusiastic about it.
What about role play?
What about it?
Is it healthy?
You know, everything has a good and a bad side to it. I mean, isn't that true in everything? You know, you do something for the wrong motivation, like let's say you get involved in a sport or something.
We've got a caller.
Okay, let's see what the caller wants. Hi, Joe.
All right, Joe, you're live.
Hi, girls. Wow, this is a great show to have a cup of coffee to.
Yay.
How about some cucumbers?
All right, Joe, we're limited on time. What's your question?
My question is, I've been dating a girl for a year. She's fairly conservative in the bedroom, which is fine. But I have a really, I don't know, like a freak side that your guest was talking about. I've done pretty much everything your guest had talked about: groups, tag teams, threesomes, BDSM, no furry stuff. You know, all different stuff like that. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm gypping her almost by not being completely open with things I enjoy.
Does she not know that you enjoy that stuff?
I don't think so.
So how does he go about telling her?
You have to be honest with somebody you're having sex with. Jeez. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, this could be a really great opportunity for learning and growing together. You don't have to like dump it on her all at once. Hey, this is everything I've done. And you can get this long list. Try a little something, you know, just like try a little something. Be really nice and gentle about it and suggest, hey, you might like this.
Aren't some easy things like bring in some fruit and things like that and just kind of have it there and do something
Wean your way
different?
into it?
Yeah, like just
Just
to
a
do
little something different.
A little something, like not, you know, the cucumber,
Or
maybe a dill
kind of an
pickle.
interesting sex toy or something. Yeah.
Something general.
Just do something. She'll like it.
All right, Joe. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks. Love the show, ladies.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you so much.
All right, we've had a
Okay, so
blast.
apparently that picture had nothing to do with what we were talking
I didn't think
about.
so because I was like, I don't understand why she's reading this right now. What did it have to do?
No,
with?
I was just pointing it out.
That's weird.
Because it was a doppelganger?
Yeah. And it was on an airplane and reading on an airplane. Anyways,
But she happened to be holding up toilet paper.
But she happened to be holding up toilet paper, so I thought it was...
Do you know what I think my non-professional opinion is? I think since you immediately thought that was referring to anal, back in your subconscious mind, you want to try it.
Ta-da!
It's a question.
You know, I think there are some things that I've always thought about, and in the fantasy world of your brain, sound like they could be exciting, but in all actuality, not going to go there.
Well,
and I'm just going to...
Start small.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Start small. See? Tampon. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so time's up. Time's up. But
Thank God. All right. I love you. You are amazing. This book is definitely an eye-opener into...
And what's
into
the name of it again? I didn't catch
It's called Sex, the Punctuation Mark of Life. And the author is Lucretia Torva, who is also an amazingly talented artist.
Thank you.
Your paintings completely blow my mind. And every year your paintings are at Barrett-Jackson, and just what you do blows me away.
So where can we get your book? Because she'll go on forever. We'll talk.
Amazon.
Okay.
And just by my name or the name of the book. Yeah.
Sex, the punctuation mark of life.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I enjoyed
Lucretia.
it.
Thank you. All right. We'll be back next week, and happy Memorial Day.
We won't be here next week. We'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll post it on No Limits. We got to go.
All right.
Bye, Michelle.
Can